My name's Dale Harris, and I am the General Manager at Hasbean Coffee. And I'm really excited to spend a few minutes with you doing a small review on the Ottomatic. Now, this is produced by Marco, and you might be more used to their equipment in specialty cafes. So they're well known for their hot water delivery systems, like the mix tap, or their single cup brewers, like the SP9. And all of those pieces of equipment have in common precision, but also stylish design. Now, the Ottomatic is their first at-home brewer, and it's a collaboration between Marco and CHEMEX that has been going on for the last 5 years. And we're really just bringing these to Europe for the first time in a big way. Now, it's a really interesting piece of equipment because it combines little bits of the technology and style of all those companies, but it starts with a really old idea. So 1200 years ago, Pythagoras came up with the concept of the greedy cup. And this is a cup with a central column which has a small hole in it. And you can fill it just to a certain point, everything's fine, but if you fill past that, it creates a siphoning effect that empties the cup. And the Ottomatic uses that system to dispense water. And that actually gives us control over the three most important things when brewing coffee, the 3 T's: time, temperature, and turbulence. So we fill the rear chamber with water, and it's got some nice little lines on it so we know where to fill. Water reaches that line and moves through the siphoning effect up through the brewer. And as it's heated here, flash heated, it's then cooled to just the right brewing temperature when it reaches the spray head. And the spray head is patented to give a very particular effect, and that gives us turbulence that controls how the water hits the coffee and how it draws flavor from that coffee. And then brewing time is controlled a little bit by the software within the device. So that's going to create a pulsing cycle, just like if I was a barista with a pouring kettle, pouring on small amounts of water here and there. But I'll demonstrate all this whilst I brew a hot coffee, and then I'll talk you through brewing iced coffee on the Ottomatic as well. So start off for my hot coffee. I'm going to take a CHEMEX filter paper. And this is one of CHEMEX's original patents. It's one of the things that makes CHEMEX such a special brewer. This thick paper removes lots of oils from the coffee, so it gives you a real clean and crisp cup of coffee. I'm adding 42.5 grams of coffee there. And that's the right quantity of coffee for the 5-cup setting on the side of the brewer. So I'm going to fill up to there. And on the side of the brewer, we have a small rocker switch. I'm just going to move it into position 1. That's for hot coffee, but that also activates the hot plate. So when we want to make iced coffee, we'll use position 2. Now the water is going to move through. It's going to flash heat here, and it's slowly going to move through to the spray head and be dispensed there. And it's going to pulse in small amounts of water at regular intervals, just as if I was making this with a pouring kettle. So that's hot coffee being brewed really simply. I don't need to put any more effort in. Now I'll move this one to one side, and we'll take a look at iced coffee as well and get them both brewing side by side. So with iced coffee, we have to juggle a few different challenges. So we want to bring the temperature to the right point for boiling. That's going to create the right temperature at the spray head for extracting as much flavor as we can from the coffee to get the right flavors. But then it's going to dispense on ice. And that ice is going to drop that temperature really quickly, and it's going to give us all the complexity of hot coffee and an iced coffee beverage. Now, I've weighed out 340 grams of ice, and I've removed that from the water that I'm going to pour into the side. So I'm just going to pour up, if I move this around, I'm just going to pour up to the 3-cup level. It's going to give us 480 grams of water. And I'm going to push the 2 button and set it brewing. Now, when I'm brewing iced coffee, I'm going to use the same dose of coffee, so 42.5 grams, but I'm grinding finer because I want the brewing to take a similar amount of time to that with hot coffee. For hot coffee, for this size brew, I'm using a grind very much like you'd use for a cafetiere, but for the iced coffee, I'm using a pour-over style grind. What I love about the Ottomatic is it takes some of those really complicated things that normally the barista would do in the cafe, pouring small amounts of water at irregular intervals, pre-infusion, and it automates those sections. So all you need to do is fill the chamber with the right amount of water, add in a filter paper and the right amount of ground coffee, and push the button. So, the Ottomatic, a combination of a 1,200-year-old idea from Pythagoras, an iconic design, 70 years old, from Dr. Peter Schlumbaum, and 5 years of collaboration between Marco and CHEMEX. Now, in a few seconds, I'm going to answer some of your questions, whatever you have for me. But if you're interested in taking one of these brewers, you can find them at hasbean.co.uk and from the beginning of January from marcobeveragesystems.com. Cheers.